All right, y'all. It is still Saturday, March the 15th. And you know what? There's no closure with narcissists. So I just got to get it out, right? All right, y'all. This one is poisonal. This one is just me venting because, like I said, you don't get closure. You don't get closure when you're dealing with narcissists. They're never going to say, yeah, you were right. I was fucking with you. They are always going to double down on you were the bad guy. And I've dealt with some bad ones before. I had one several years back that the last straw was when they, bounced out of a trip. We were supposed to go to Vegas, and the day of, it was non-refundable tickets. I had been asking this dude every single day leading up to it, like, is everything still good? Let me know if anything changes so I can change things around. Nope, everything's good. Everything's good. The day of, as I'm getting in the car, getting ready to go to the airport, is when this dude, not the same guy as my friend, this is a separate story, hits me up and goes, oh, I can't make it. My brother is in the hospital with COVID and he's being intubated and he's dying. Now, we were talking just a few short hours ago in the night. There was not a whisper about anyone being sick. There went from there not being a problem at all and everything's good to my brother's intubated and dying and you can't question this because you can't prove me wrong, so I'm not going. And if you're mad at me, it's because you're a terrible person. And that for me was like, oh, okay. Yep, that was the final straw for me on that person. I was like, yep, you're done. That's that. Yeah. So this one was hard for me. This one's hard for me because there are very few people I feel I can connect with in the sense of we both had difficult upbringings. While mine was religious and theirs was not, theirs was far more traumatic than mine. And that's something that I cherish and respect when I have close friends, because it's really hard for me to connect with people who haven't gone through shit. Like I said on the talk, if the most difficult thing you've faced was your parents got divorced when you were 13 and you've been in therapy for the last 20 years over that, that's your journey. I cannot identify with that. So, I even if the people are difficult, I understand it, or I feel like I understand it. So that bought a lot of space and time with me where I would just, oh yeah, they're probably trauma. It's related to the trauma. And that's why we make perfect marks. Us neurofeisty empaths, perfect marks. We are busy trying to understand it and figure it out. And once they realize that that's what they're doing, they realize all they have to do is keep throwing curveballs. And it's like a Rubik's Cube for us. We're just like, ooh, another piece, let me turn it this way. How can I need to understand this brain. And it's because we understand people. We recognize patterns. We if you're high masking, you learn how to mirror. So like you use these skills and then you meet this person and none of your skills really work. And it's like, ooh. Oh, do y'all remember True Blood when Sookie met Bill the vampire? Sookie. And she enjoyed being around him because she couldn't hear his thoughts. She could hear everyone else's thoughts. She couldn't hear his thoughts. She was like, that's actually kind of nice, or at least different. Like, it's kind of like that where it's like, I can't 100% figure you out. I mean, I've got a lot of your patterns of behavior down, but there's a lot of things that just, I'm not sure if it's one thing or another, you know? So anyway, so yeah, I'm dealing with the part where you're going over things you said, trying to see what, because they make you feel crazy, right? They make you question, am I the narcissist? I guess I could be. I mean, I have narcissistic tendency. I can be selfish sometimes. I can, and now you're thinking, which in and of itself is, chances are probably you're not. In fact, you're even considering it with an open mind and going, I could be. Let me think. Let me make a list and see if maybe I do fall into that category. But basically, with this person, it got to a point where anytime you opened your mouth, breathe in their direction, even if you agree with them, they will find a way to turn it on you and say that you have attacked them. So in this situation, I was agreeing that it was kind of messed up that the kid who was set up to have a scholarship, who's going to be done with school in a couple of years, has been working for the last decade in one sport in particular, and was set up to have a scholarship for school. And whatever happened, dude blames the mom. I don't know. I personally think, and I've told him this before, I've said, you're too strict with him. And I don't mean that I'm telling you what to do. I'm telling you from the position of someone who grew up. they aren't religious. For me, it was religion, but that tiger parent, no privacy. We need to know who you're talking to. You can't hang out with friends. You can't do what you want. That backfires. I was like, I'm just telling you, as someone who went through it, it will backfire. That, yeah, I know you're trying to teach him the right way, and no games, no phones, no movies, no sleepovers, no girlfriends, no fun, nothing but sports and homework, and that's it, because he needs to learn. Okay, but I'm just telling you, there's a chance. He is human. And there is a chance that the first taste of freedom he gets, he's not going to know how to control himself, because you won't have helped him with that. You have only focused on what you can control. And yeah, we had a fight over that too. He got so mad at me. How dare I? I don't understand. I'm attacking him, blah, blah, blah. I don't get it. I'm calling him a bad person. I'm calling him a monster. He always loves to say I'm calling him names when I'm not. And I will say, what names have I called you? Well, you said I don't like women. That's not me calling you a name. Yeah, it is. It's the same thing. So you just keep calling me names. And okay, again, what are the names? Well, you do. You just call me names. What are they? Yeah, well, you're just calling me names. I'm like, okay, so you're projecting. Whatever anger it is that you have, you're projecting. But I have not called you any names. Me pointing out that you don't like women while you're complaining about how all women are awful and terrible and only have children because it's a business for them. And as soon as there's no profit, they're not interested. And that's a fact that you know for sure. That's just a fact. And if I speak up and say that's an opinion, which is what happened, I was like, that's an opinion. You feel that way because you don't like women. You have issues with your ex, whatever. You don't like women. But to just say that all women only have babies because that's how they make their money and they're not interested in them if they're not profitable, and the courts are all so biased and the whole world is focused on making women can have the kids and dads have no say. And again, most dudes, when they say stuff like that, it pisses me off because it's deadbeats, but this is one of the people that has made a lot of sacrifices to be there for their kids. So I understand what they are saying compared to some of the deadbeats I know that love to say that, sing that song and dance. So, but anyway, yeah. So they were saying that to me, a single mom who does not have exes on child support. I have co-parenting. I'm very chill. So I'm an exception to that thought. And I hate it when people say stuff like that. So all I did was correct and say that's an opinion, not a fact. And I attacked him. That was me attacking him. I attacked him by telling him that his feelings were opinions and not facts. While I'm attacking him, I'm calling him names. How dare I say that he doesn't like women when all he's saying is the absolute fact? I'm talking out of my feelings right now by attacking him and telling him that he doesn't like women when all he's doing is saying the fact that women only have babies for profit. And then I'm like, oh boy, okay. So I cut that shit short. I'm like, I'm, you know what? I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. This is a trap. I'm not doing this. I think I'm good. I've realized now that, yeah, the problem is just straight up narcissism. And you had the audacity to tell a woman to her face that you know the facts. Okay. Yeah. And those are the people running the country. So anyway, yeah, and I don't believe I was wrong. I believe part of the issues right now that he's dealing with is the son is mom is providing some of the soft landing, some of the life experiences that a teenage boy wants to have. Yeah, you want to hang out with your friends? Here's a phone that your dad doesn't monitor so that you can have a girlfriend, you know? And I understand that when you're co-parenting, you want to agree on things, but when you're so far apart that you have one that's like, no, you're not allowed to have a life at all, and one that's like, okay, at least like just chill and have friends. All I can say is I've been there, and I try to tell him he's going to, if you don't let him do it, he's going to do it at some point. And it's already tipping where he just lost a scholarship because freedom is starting to sound good. And that's everyone else's fault except his. It's everyone else's fault except dad's fault because the world is trying to corrupt him and throw things like fun and girls instead of work and engineering and sports. I'm like, okay. This thing where you want to force people to fit what you think they should be. That's the problem.